What a gritty win for Penn State men's basketball inside the Bryce Jordan Center on Monday night. A 2-overtime thriller as they knock off Iowa 90-86. You're watching the post-game show live right here inside the Bryce Jordan Center as we welcome in a special guest, Greg Lee, as we'll take a look back at those highlights in just a second. Greg Lee finishes with 16 points on the night, 6 of 7 from the field. Greg, holy cow, how gritty of a win was this for your program?
It was a big time win. First time.
See, then just 10 days ago, obviously that outcome was the outcome tonight. It goes to overtime. They could buzzer beater at the very end of regulation. First overtime, same type of thing happens. Double overtime. What was the ultimate deciding factor to push you guys through?
Just all mental.
Let's talk about your counterpart, John Herrera. He finishes with team high 19 points in this contest tonight, 6 of 10 from the field. We've seen it time and time again. He continues to be the rock for you guys. Tonight, how did you see him take that to another level?
Yeah, to me, it's no surprise to go there, man.
So at some point in the game during the first half, or the second half rather, he got fatigued. See him out there, and then you stepped in, you came up clutch in some big-time spots. What were you doing well tonight that was working for you?
Honestly, just going off the same attention as
the buzzer beater that Iowa hit at the end of regulation, that can obviously deplete the team in that scenario. You guys didn't allow for that to happen. When the overtime period came, what switch did you try to flip as a team to come out on top?
Honestly, just coming together and staying positive.
This is your first time inside the Bryce Jordan Center in 20 days. Kind of crazy when you think about the schedule of a college basketball grind. How good was it to be back in front of your fans again? That's Greg Lee, who finishes with 16 points tonight on 6 of 7 from the field. Greg, appreciate your time. Greg Lee, 16 points. Miles Dredd with 12 points. Seth Lundy finishes with 17 points. And John Herrera with 19 points in tonight's contest. We'll hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury coming up here momentarily, as well as a select couple of Penn State student athletes in this one. Once again, 90-86, the final score in double overtime here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. It was a thriller in this contest. As we take a look at some of the highlights from this contest, we're going to hear a couple of big-time play calls in this one, too, including that Iowa buzzer beater, Miles Dredd big-time 3 in the regular overtime period, and then the end of the game call in this one. Let us know where you're watching today's game from, or tonight's post-game show, rather, from. A lot of comments scrolling in so far. We'll get those up on the screen as, once again, you'll hear from Miles Dredd, or not Miles Dredd, head coach Micah Shrewsbury, and select Penn State student athletes. I'd have to imagine John Herrera might be at the podium again tonight, as he finished with 19 points in this contest. Seth Lundy led the way for Penn State in the first half with 12 points on 5 of 8 from the field, 7 rebounds. Largest lead for the Nittany Lions was 10, which was a 15-5 score with 12:10 left in the first half. Story of the first half, though, was 24 bench points for the Hawkeyes to Penn State's 6. Connor McCaffrey, who came in averaging 1.2 points per game in this contest, well, he had a career night. He had 12 points in the first half, 4 of 6 from deep, as Penn State ended the half without a bucket in the last 5:05. But that would not matter in this contest, as Penn State comes out in the second half with an aggressive punch-first mentality. John Herrera in that game, or in the second half, rather, coming out. Andy Katz said, quote, "Wears it on his face." That he does. Mr. Katz, John Herrera finishing with a team-high 19 points in this contest. Back and forth down the stretch in this one, as you heard from Greg Lee. Ultimately, it was them coming together and sticking together in this one and punching last to be able to come up with this big-time victory. See Greg Lee coming up with a big-time bucket right there. Let's hear how it sounded at the end of regulation in this one, as Iowa, down by 2, needed a bucket.
No timeouts. Hawkeyes have to go. Bohannon into the front court. Spins. Has to get it up. Heave for the win. It's tapped in! It's tapped in! Keegan Murray at the buzzer to send this game to overtime.
Big time play by the big time player.
Oh, and it went into overtime, and overtime was just the start of this contest. Once again, 92-86, the final score. Miles Dredd, though, who finished with 12 points on the evening, came up with a big time, and I mean big time, triple down the stretch.
Defensive effort to Dredd. Over Murray. Hits the three! Tough look, got it to go!
Miles Dredd.
Miles Dredd, team finishes with 12 points in this contest. Once again, 9 rebounds for Miles Dredd. You can't hear these play calls without the end of the game sound in this one. Double overtime thriller for Penn State victory. Here's how it sounded on the broadcast.
Dredd hits both free throws. 4-point game, 1 second.
What a win for Penn State.
Last heave, no good. In double overtime, Penn State knocks off Iowa 90-86.
92-86, the final score in this contest. We await to hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury at the press conference right there. That will be coming up here in a few moments. And we take a look at the box score in this contest. There it is, 92-86. A couple of stats in this one. Seth Lundy, 17 points. Miles Dredd, who we've touched on a couple of times, 12 points, 3 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from deep. John Herrera with 19 points, 6 of 10 from the field. Jalen Pickett had a pretty nice night, 13 points, 5 of 16 from the field. And Greg Lee with 16 points, 6 of 7 from the field. Penn State with 6 triples to Iowa's 11. All in all, a back-and-forth contest. Look at that lead change category down there in the far right corner. 15 different lead changes in this contest. It was tied. This game was tied for a total of 6 minutes and 33 seconds. As we wait to hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury coming up here in a few moments. Let's take a look at some of the comments rolling in on this broadcast so far. Appreciate all of you tuning in to a late night edition of the Penn State men's basketball post-game show. Eric, great game. Great game indeed it was. Big time W for this Penn State men's basketball program. Kelly, can't even watch this. Edward, big time W. We already got to Edward. As the live show started yet, we're live right now. Gritty, hard-fought victory as we await to hear from a couple of select Penn State student athletes. Looks like John Herrera and Miles Dredd. Let's hear what they have to say.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. So question for each of you. John, you know, what was that, before Miles shot there, what was that pre-huddle kind of like? And for Miles, why are you the guy who takes that shot?
I told Miles, I was like, bro, just shoot it. Like, I've been with you 4 years. I've seen 6 game winners so far. Like, if there's any guy on the court, I want you to shoot it. I'm going down with you. And I'm happy with the result.
I don't even know who was guarding. I believe it was one of the twins. Great defenders. They're really long. I kind of got stuck, honestly. Like I dribbled, shot fake, he didn't move. I was like, uh-oh. So I made a ball fake, and I just kind of put it up there. And I really couldn't see the rim until he landed. And right when the ball went in, I was like, oh, great. And then, to be honest, I didn't even realize how big of a shot it was until we got back on defense. And I looked up, and I was like, oh, no, that's kind of cool. But you know, John came into the huddle. He was like, who's going to take the big shot? You know, I got Miles. Miles. Make it. Shoot the ball. Make it. And just kind of happened that way.
After being on the road for so long, in a way, a couple of those games went for you, which I'm guessing you weren't real happy with. How important was it to have this effort tonight? You know, win great, but to have the effort that you guys put forth, how important was it?
Yeah, I mean, I got to shout out the Bryce Jordan and the fans, like that environment and throughout the game, especially in overtime. That was fun. Like, I love playing at home. In front of Penn State, and I just had so much fun trying to go win the game for my community and the Penn State brand. And then like on the road in the Big Ten's not fun, but hey, we go back. We have a game to prepare for in Wisconsin. We got to get the job done somehow, some way. I was telling the guys after the locker room, like, what we did this week leading up in our preparation, it's got to be the same way. Like, you got to practice the same way and treat every game the same way. Have that mindset moving forward into the game.
This one's for both of you. Over like a long game like that, how do you keep the intensity going? How do you keep on keeping at it?
So in the preseason, we can shout out Greg McSkinnis, our strength and conditioning coach. Friday mornings are the most fun days. Fun. And honestly and truthfully, we learned how to tough, fight through fatigue, fight through pain, fight through adversity in those. Like that truthfully, I think helps us a lot.
This is for both you guys. When you get in late game offensive situations, all five guys on the court always look at Mike, and he's almost telling everyone what to do individually. How much trust do you have to have in a coach, not to even run a set play, but just to look at him and have him tell you exactly where you need to be in those moments?
I think it was one practice where Coach Shoes drew up a play, and we all look at each other like, man, this guy's pretty smart. This guy kind of knows basketball. We know it. So we just trust him. Like, we know what he wants. And in the end of the game, we talk about what we're going to do, who we want in the action. So we're kind of just looking towards him for where to go. But at the end of the day, like, you got to make a play. Big-time players make big-time plays, so you got to make a play.
Also for both of you, I mean, what was that swing like at the end of regulation where you're up 6 with a minute left and then they tie the game in that kind of fashion? How did you guys kind of stay up, going into the overtime and not lose anything?
I mean, I always preach, not too high, not too low. We made a run, and we kind of got a little too high, and we let our foot off the gas a little bit, and they made that little comeback and took it into overtime. One of the twins made a great play at the end. That was amazing, honestly. But overtime comes, we both fight. Two great teams sitting there just battling it out. Like that's a true Big Ten game. Like if you guys have ever seen one, that is the exemplary Big Ten basketball game right there. And then in double overtime, we just sat there, not too high, not too low. Whatever plays we made, and we just focused on getting stops.
Micah talked about wanting you guys to play .5 basketball. Did you feel like you guys were able to implement that tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I was telling the guards, like, let's run. Like, when we make it hard on ourselves is when we let the defense set up. And that's what Coach Shrews is kind of talking about in that .5. Like, when we have the ball and we're looking at the post or we're looking, the defense is going to be set. So that .5 decision to shoot it, pass it, or drive it, it makes that defense have to move. I think that's what he's talking, and it helps. The ball doesn't stick with .5 basketball, so it helps the defense move. And I think we got great shots tonight. Like, we got the shots, and they're going to drop. They're going to keep dropping for us.
We'll do 2 more.
Miles, of course, had the big-time 3 in overtime, but I think during the second half it was Sam Sessions who made the big-time shots during that stretch. What are you guys telling a player like him when he has the ball in his hands?
Go get buckets. Literally, like that's.
Yeah, Sam's the playmaker. Like, I love seeing him get downhill, and then if no one comes and traps the box or helps, he's gonna finish with those like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or hooks. But then if they trap the box, he's going to make the play and find the open man.
John, I think you and Greg combined for 35 tonight. I guess it seemed like you guys were playing really physical. I mean, what do you make of the performance that you guys were able to put together?
Yeah, I've been in this room, and I think I called G League a dog at least like 7 times now. And I mean, you can see it. Like he had some offensive rebounds that are just like you gotta have something in your heart to go get that offensive rebound. So, I mean, G League, that's where he's deadly. He does his work on the glass and in the paint. So, he's got. And it's a big time. I think we know now, like, in the Big Ten, you got to be physical if you want to win. It's a dogfight. We can punish people on the glass when G Lee's as highest.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I got to get that in my bag.
John Herrera and Miles Dredd wrap up their media availability here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. We'll hear from Micah Shrewsbury coming up here in a few moments. A couple of interesting points there from the two Penn State players. Miles Dredd talking about the strength and conditioning done by Greg McSkinnis in the offseason, in the summer specifically, that ultimately pushed this team to a victory in double overtime. Pretty cool nugget there from Miles Dredd. Also said that if you're a Big Ten fan, this is a true, and I mean a true, Big Ten game, end quote, from Miles Dredd right there. He finished with 12 points in this contest, as John Herrera finished with a team-high 19 points on 6 of 10 from the field. Let's take a look at the call of the game, Jalen Pickett's big-time bucket.
A lot of dribbling. Pickett heard the crowd and hits at the buzzer.
See, I don't like that, though.
Hits at the buzzer, and Penn State would continue to push forward towards the buzzer. They would ultimately come up with a W in this game. This is how it sounds.
Dredd hits both free throws. 4-point game, 1 second.
What a win for Penn State.
There it is. There's the win, and here is head coach Micah Shrewsbury.
For guys before the game. Like if I don't know, they usually come back to the locker room like 40 minutes left. And we talk. Then they go warm up at like 30. And I went in there at 40, and I just told them I don't have anything to say to you. Like if your heart's not beating fast right now and you're ready to go. Like if you're I can't really say what I said to him, but your care meter isn't as high as it could possibly go right now, then I don't have the guys in the locker room that I think I got in here. Right? I told him I'm going to play the guys that stick to our game plan. I'm going to play the guys that move the basketball and share it and play the right way, fight on the glass and do everything possible. But I wanted to see our response. I wanted to see our resolve, and I thought we had that tonight. The way we started the game, things didn't always go well for us, but we kept fighting back. We kept fighting back. We kept fighting back. You get a lead, then they send it to overtime. You got to fight back. You got to bounce back. It goes to double overtime. You got to bounce back. You got to fight back, and these guys did it all night long. So I'm proud of these guys and how we responded. The Big Ten is not easy, and it hasn't been kind to us with this schedule and not playing a home game in 20 days and being on the road and playing at 3 tough places to play, right? We're not exempt or what we did. There's a lot of people in the country that are going to go lose at Ohio State, at Iowa, at Indiana. It's not exclusive to just us. There's a lot of good teams that are going to go do that. Everybody can go do that. So, but that momentum, it takes something out of your team when you don't get home games. But to be back here, I'm proud that, I'm proud of Nittany Nation. I'm proud of the Legion of Blue and everybody for sticking by us and showing up tonight. And I think our guys, they fought. Right, and I say it all the time. If somebody gets one opportunity to come watch us play, I hope they left and felt good about how we played tonight.
Micah, you're always pretty demonstrative out there, but tonight it felt like you were particularly so. Yeah, I know, crazy.
I don't sometimes, I don't get a chance to go back and see myself, so I wonder about that.
But you seemed particularly demonstrative, especially in the overtimes. Were you feeling kind of the weight and the importance of this game, given how well your guys had played and how the last 3 games had gone?
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of also just stick to the plan. Just stick to the plan. Just stick to the plan and get it done. And, I just want to win. I just want to win. I want But here's why I want to win. I want these guys to have so much success, right? Like I've been, like I said, I've been blessed in my life, man. I've coached in 2 national championship games. I've coached in the NCAA tournament. I don't know, I went 4 years at Butler, 6. So 6 years. I've been in the Eastern NBA playoffs 5 years. Like, I've experienced success in my career, but I want these guys to feel it, man. Like, that feeling is special. And I don't remember what game it was or when it happened, but I told them, like I believe in you guys like none other. Like, believe in yourself the same exact way, but I believe in you, and I'm going to fight for you, and I want them to have so much success. So I'm going to do everything possible. So if my staff makes fun of me, or the other guys on staff make fun of me, and they say, like, I'm like this really nice guy, and then game time comes, and it's just like straight Tasmanian devil. But I want success for these guys so much that, like, I'll give anything for them to have it.
Coach, back here on the podium, the way you guys play, more of a grinding style of play, do you think that benefited you as overtime went on and Iowa's legs were tired and they couldn't seem to make the shots, but you guys were just grinding away?
I think so. It helped us throughout the game. You look back and you're like, man, we gave up 86. But then you're like, it was only 66. It was really 64. And, Keegan Murray makes a miraculous tip. It was unbelievable. That was like, I guess the game's over now. I can go back and talk about it. But, like, that's why he's going to be playing in the NBA next year, right? So, but we guarded. Man, we really guarded for a game where you look and you give up 86. We guarded for stretches and made it tough on them. And it's a really good offensive team. And if we can continue to do that, we give ourselves a chance. And that's who we want to be. That's who we want to be each and every night. And then, kind of opportunistic offense. Opportunistic to the point of 90 points tonight, but, as opportunistic as we can get.
Micah, you seem pretty disappointed in the rebounding effort in the second half at Iowa. The play by Keegan notwithstanding, obviously that was an incredible play, but what do you think about the job your guys did and the number of guys you had posting big rebounding numbers there?
Yeah, it was just full team effort. Like, those are when you need it, because they're a really good defensive team. They're a really good offensive rebounding team. But I was thrilled. Like, I told our guys I don't really pay attention to, like, I look at the score and then everything else is kind of off gut feel about who's playing well. So I usually don't look at the scoreboards. Although I'm appreciative of the BJC that they have these great scoreboards in here for us to have the score and everything else up there. But I usually don't look at them. And then I get the box score after the game. I'm like, wow, Seth had a double-double. So did John. Miles almost had one. Greg almost had one. And then you look and, Jalen Pickett has seven rebounds, 6 defensive, and Sam has 5 rebounds, 4 defensive. And, like, that's when you're focused in on what you need to do. Because most teams, right, you have to send people back on defense, which are usually the guys that Pickett and Sam were guarding. So they're free to go clean it up. Like, don't stand out there on the perimeter. My man's all the way back in the paint on the other end, and I'm standing at the three-point line taking pictures of our bigs down there, battling their asses off on the glass, and I'm just chilling. Like, we got enough people taking pictures. They take great pictures. I get a chance to look at them after the game, flip through and all this other stuff. But, like, we don't need extra players out there taking pictures. We need you in there in the fight and getting in the mix, and those guys did it. They got on the glass, and that really helps us. It saves energy for John and Greg to go get some offensive rebounds.
Obviously, things get a little complicated when you start playing double overtime, but, you got a couple of guys in 40 minutes. You didn't get much from Jelani and Giovanni tonight. You didn't get any from Giovanni tonight, but you also got a start from Dalian tonight. What kind of went into your head with all those rotations?
I was thinking about offense. Start of the game. Like, I wanted to space the floor and have a bunch of guys out there that can shoot. Right, and Dalian can really shoot it. Seth can shoot it. Miles can shoot it. And now you saw our offense clicking a little bit because guys are getting into the paint. Now they're worried about them when they kick it out and they're closing out. Now those guys are attacking, right? And there's less people in the paint, less crowded. We wanted to move the basketball a little bit better. And, that's kind of the group we went with. Jelani was going to play. He got his contact knocked out pretty early. And, I subbed him out and the other guys were just playing well. Like sometimes it's just not your night because, you get an opportunity. You don't want to waste it. And that's what, those guys – Greg was like, nope, it's my opportunity. I'll take those minutes. While you're out, I'm going to play well. So I'm just going to stick with those guys who were playing well. And I thought our offense played a little bit better. I get a chance to watch. Sometimes they show these on the Big Ten Network, these press conferences. So I'm going to give a shout out to my man Rob Hummel because I sit back there and watch it pregame. And he and Trent Meacham Trent was talking about our defense, and Rob was like, I'm concerned with their offense. They need to play better offensively. So I just want to tell Rob I was ahead of the game. Rob, I was thinking about offense a couple of days ago. He should have texted me his concerns because we're good friends. But appreciate you, Rob. Love you, man. That's my guy, by the way. Like, this is like seriously, like that's my guy. So that's not like a shot at Rob Hummel. He'll text me if he sees this.
Not to belabor the tip in, but just kind of given the improbability of that.
Yeah.
What's your reaction in that moment? Like, how do you process that and then move on from it as quickly as you guys did?
I mean, the first thing that was trying to get all of our guys back to the huddle, right? Like, I knew that ball was in. Like, I saw it, like, go off his hands before the horn went off. But, like, you can't put your head down in that moment, right? You can't be thinking about what happened during that moment. You have to regroup as fast as possible. So we had to get into the locker room and start talking right away about, like, hey, we got to win this overtime, right? We won the game. And, this tip-in happened. We didn't finish the job, but we won the game. Now go win it twice then. Do what you need to do to win it twice. You can't do that if you're thinking about I didn't box out. You can't do that if you're thinking about, hey, man, he didn't box out. We won this game. Like, now you're not focused on doing your job and trying to get our guys refocused. And I thought they did that. They scored the first points, I think, in both overtimes. But they scored the first point in overtime, and then, we kind of chipped away. We hung around. We scored back and forth, and then same thing, second overtime. I wish I had Sean McVay's memory. I saw that clip of him recalling plays. Like, I can't remember stuff. I'm sorry. It's probably the Tasmanian devil in me. But I thought we responded at every opportunity to match their scoring in overtimes when they scored. We came down and scored. Like, they scored. We came down and scored. And that was us just regrouping in the huddles, talking. We got great leadership from our guys to stay focused and do what we need to do to try and win the game.
Micah, 22% from three tonight. I think it's the first game you've shot under 30% and won from out there. What did you do to compensate for that and still, have a pretty productive offensive night?
I think we got, if you go back and look, I guess second chance points helped us. We got 15 offensive rebounds and some kickouts. We had some, we got to the rim at a pretty good rate. Our threes just didn't fall. I felt like we got really good shots. So I wasn't stressing over that. I thought, we'd make some in the second half. If we kept getting the same quality of look, I thought we'd make more. So I'm fine with it. Like, we shot good shots. We took good shots. We attacked the rim a lot more. We made plays around the rim. But, our spacing helped us be able to have opportunities to get in there. So we're going to continue to try and do that. We're going to continue to play the right way, continue to attack the basket, and then if we got open threes, shoot them with confidence. Like, water finds its level at some point in time. And, we got a boatload of makes coming.
Micah, you mentioned Dalian. What did you see from him in his limited time out there, and do you have an update on his status moving forward?
Yeah, he, the reason why I wanted to play him and the reason why I went with him early is, one, he doesn't have any fear. Like, he feels like every shot's going in and, he's got a chance to make it. but he's got great speed. And like he cuts really well, and like his cutting sets up other guys. Like it draws attention from the defense to get other guys open. And he's one of the few guys that has that speed right now for us that we're kind of looking for who can do that. So, he injured his back a little bit. I don't think it's anything serious. So, we just wanted to be patient with him in the second half. Those other guys were going, so it's nothing serious. I don't expect it to be anything serious to hold him out. So we'll get him ready to go for Wisconsin. Thank you, guys. You can keep that if you.
92-86. The final score as head coach Micah Shrewsbury wraps up his media availability inside the Bryce Jordan Center on Monday night. Let's take a look at the action one more time in this contest. Regular action only. Didn't have time to put together the overtime thrillers, but we got some clips for you of that contest. Seth Lundy led the way for Penn State in the first half with 12 points on 5 of 8 in the field. He also had 7 rebounds. The largest lead for the Nittany Lions in that first half was 10. It was 15-5 mark with 12:10 left in the first half. Story of the first half, though, was Iowa's 24 bench points. Penn State 6. Ultimately, it was Connor McCaffrey who had a career night in the first half, averaging 1.2 points per game. Coming into this game, he had 12 in the first half alone on 4 of 6 from deep. Penn State ended the first half without a bucket in the last 5:05. But the good news is they came out in the second half a much different looking mindset compared to some other instances here inside the Bryce Jordan Center coming out of the half. They came out with a punch-first mentality. John Herrera and Greg Lee led the way for Penn State with that punch-first mentality mindset. Andy Katz on the broadcast said, quote, "John Herrera wears it on his face." That he absolutely does. Andy Katz, back and forth contest down the stretch in this one, but it was ultimately Iowa that hit a time expired in this game.
No timeouts. Hawkeyes have to go. Bohannon into the front court. Spins. Has to get it up. Heave for the win. It's tapped in. It's tapped in. Keegan Murray at the buzzer to send this game to overtime.
Big time play by the big time player.
Oh, that was a big-time play, but that wasn't the only big-time play in a big-time situation made in this contest. That flipped it to overtime. It was Miles Dredd that came up with this big-time bucket.
Defensive effort to Dredd. Over Murray. Hits the three! Tough look. Got it to go!
Miles Dredd.
Miles Dredd with a big-time three in the end of the first regulation overtime, and then it was the second overtime as Penn State would ultimately come away with a 90-86 victory in this contest. John Herrera led the way with 19 points on 6 of 10 from the field. Seth Lundy with a big triple down the stretch in that second overtime. Miles drills that three with just 9.7 seconds left, and then ultimately it was Penn State that picked up the winning game call in this one.
Dredd hits both free throws. 4-point game, 1 second.
What a win for Penn State.
Last heave, no good. In double overtime, Penn State knocks off Iowa 90-86.
In double overtime, it's Penn State knocking off Iowa to improve to a record of 9-9 overall in the season with a 4-6 conference record. Iowa falls to 14-7 on the season with a 4-6 conference record. Up next for Penn State, they'll take on Wisconsin. Number 11 Wisconsin on the road this Saturday, February 5th at 6 o'clock p.m. right back on the Big Ten Network. And the next home game for Penn State will be Tuesday, February 8th at 9 o'clock p.m. You think tonight's broadcast is late? We're going to rock that baby to sleep after that 9 o'clock p.m. tip. That one is a to-be-determined broadcast. That's going to do it for this edition of the Penn State Men's Basketball Postgame Show as Penn State walks away victorious 90-86 in double overtime.